Thank you and welcome Nathan Brown of Robust Marketing for joining us today. Nathan, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what do you do, and how long you've been doing it for?
So as Harminder said, my name's Nathan. I run a marketing agency called Robus Marketing. So we're based in Sidcup, but we generally sort of cover South East London, Bromley, Croydon, down to sort of Maidstone and a little bit beyond. I've done that for 3 years. We've got 3 members of staff, and I've worked in marketing for 14 years in total.
Excellent, thank you. Nathan, Robust, interesting name. Tell me a little bit more about that. That's a fascinating name.
Yeah, so when I started the agency, I was working as a marketing manager, and I had the privilege of sort of taking on my employer as our first client. So I kind of wanted a name that said something that was a bit different. I think as individuals, we all want to do our little bit to change the industry that we work in. So I wanted something that was really strong, and Robust Marketing was the first name that I came up with, but I wanted to be a little bit creative, so I chose the Latin word for robust, which is robus, just obviously robust without the T. And really sort of my goal as building an agency, and the thing that underpins everything that we do, is honesty, transparency, and being really honest with our clients. Not just that, but looking at the things that are important to them. So if we onboard a client and they want to get more customers, well, if we're doing marketing, that's what we're going to look at. And I'm not going to allow them to spend and waste their money where, number one, I don't think it's going to work. And number two, if it's not working for them. And that's what's built us a really good reputation. So understanding our clients' goals is really important to us, and then being able to deliver against them and work in a partnership with them. I previously got fed up with marketing agencies that talked about things that I wasn't bothered with. So we were running a Google Ads campaign. I needed to get leads. They were telling me how many clicks I got to my website, which was interesting, but that wasn't actually my goal. So that's kind of where the name came from.
Excellent, thank you for sharing that. So tell me about the type of companies that you deal with. Are they small, medium, large companies, and where are they located geographically?
Yeah, so majority of our clients are like small businesses, so probably 1 to 200,000 turnover. We do work with a couple of businesses that are sort of up to 10 million plus, but our ideal sort of sweet spot, as you say, is clients that are 300 to 500,000 turnover. We do a lot of business networking. So within the business networking circle, you generally and naturally get smaller sort of businesses, sole traders. So as an example, sort of at the range of businesses that we work with, we look after social media content, for example, for a lady in Bromley, lovely lady who does ironing as a service, and we get her Facebook posts out and look after that for her, all the way through to sort of big planning companies where we look after their web development and SEO and social media content and advertising sort of as the whole package. I generally like to kind of work with businesses, as I say, like that 300 to 500,000 turnover. I guess a similar sort of size to some degree as ourselves. As business owners, we understand each other, and also they have a little bit of budget to play with, and we're able to enjoy what we do because we can put the time and love into what we're doing for them. So that's the sort of range of businesses we work with.
Thank you. I want to take you to a little bit of a tangent. Okay, who's the person that comes to mind for you when you think about success?
So I thought about this quite a bit, actually, and it's probably a bit of a cliche, but I would say there's a lot of inspirational business people that you could look at, right? But it's probably someone along the lines of like, love him or hate him for Twitter, but it's got to be someone like him. He's definitely chalk or cheese, or like
Marmite, definitely Marmite.
yeah. But what do I like? You know, what do I look to for him? Because I think he does have a lot of faults, and certainly isn't the perfect ticket. But he's extremely hardworking. Like when he was setting up Tesla and that sort of thing, you see him sleeping on the office floor, working 20 hours a day Obviously, he neglected his family and that sort of thing, which I don't agree with. But that example of hard work, when you're a business owner, you've got to be willing to put in those long shifts, those 12, 15 hours a day, if you want to be driven to succeed, particularly at the beginning. And then the other side to where I think he's really got it right is clearly very organized. So he does something called time blocking. He blocks out his diary in 15-minute slots. And the way that he runs his day, because he's so much on, he has to be organized like that. So they're the two things that for me, like hard work and organization. I've got a background in business administration as well. I used to manage a team of admin staff. And I guess that kind of comes naturally to being able to be like a high output individual. So he's someone I look up to, but I also don't look up to. In terms of those things, that's why I look up to. Yeah.
Thank you for that share. Like the rest of us, you went through COVID. Okay. Were there any business changes that you had to consider that COVID-19 made a necessity for your business?
Yeah, so it was an interesting one actually, because thinking through this, I started the business. If you look at Companies House, we started in 2017, but I didn't really start growing the business until early 2019. And obviously it was kind of late 2019 that COVID hit. So we weren't really around much as a business before COVID. But a few things that I think as a business, we've probably transitioned a little bit to thinking in detail is the use of online technology such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and remote working. And it's helped us to be able to be more personal. Obviously, back in COVID, whenever you spoke, you were jumping on Zoom. Let's do a Zoom. But you don't always need to do a Zoom call. Sometimes a telephone call will suffice. I think the number one is the ability to talk face to face in an easy way at the client's like time that works for them. But then also, now we're coming out of COVID, face-to-face doesn't always work. You can't make the same sort of connection as you can in person. So if there's value in it, for example, if we're doing a big web development project, meeting the client is really important. But it just means we can prioritize the in-person meetings we do, and we can sort of have a better relationship with our client. And I think the second thing, really something that is quite important for right now, is a reminder for the importance of your brand and continuing to push your brand during a recession. Marketing, by its very nature, is the first thing that businesses cut when there is difficult economic times. But arguably, if you're going to continue investing, you're going to be on the front foot when things get better. So that, along with the importance of being online, so Zoom meetings and the reminder of the recession sort of thing.
Sadly, I think many companies see marketing as an expense rather than an investment, and that's because they've been almost, I guess, focused that way by their accountant. So that's a really, really bad way of looking. So marketing should always be seen as an investment. Okay.
Absolutely.
You said you started your business earlier in 2017, but didn't really take off until 2019. My experience has been, as having run lots of business myself, people think, other people look at it, from outward, and I think it's quite an easy ride starting a business. Okay, I want you just reflecting on that, about your first 2 years. Tell us about your biggest learnings that you've had since you've been a business owner.
So my first 2 years, as I say, I was working as a marketing manager. I had the privilege, and I was lucky enough, I guess, to work with my employer as my first client, which meant I was able to invoice my salary, basically. But it also meant I was working 9 to 5 and then 5 till 2. So the first thing I said earlier, hard work, you need to put in 80, 90 hours a week if you're going to succeed. But also obviously have your eyes on the finances. I've always been quite anal when it comes to the numbers, so I know my numbers very well. And I think as a successful business owner, you need to know your numbers. You need to know how much profit you've made before tax each month, each quarter, how much tax you got to be paid, how much cash you got in the bank. That's just the running of the business, right? but that goes without saying. I think for me, the biggest learning, like I'm only realizing now in the last 6 months, is to, as I hinted to it earlier, onboard the right clients with the right motivation. So, for example, I've changed our onboarding process quite a bit to really get under the skin of what our clients want. So about sort of 60%, it was 70, it's going down a little bit now because we're doing some other services, but 60% or so of our services are designing and scheduling out social media content for our clients. So we've got a really good system in-house for doing that. But sometimes we onboard people and we say, hey, this isn't going to get you loads of leads. It's not going to get your phone ringing. But if you're going to invest in your brand and building your business, we're here to give you the tools to keep your name out there. Sometimes clients hear what they want to hear, not what you say. So we find that we do have a little bit of a churn on that side, and I'm trying to reduce that. And that's just because although we're saying that to our clients, sometimes their expectations are wrong. So I've actually been quite particular about saying to new inquiries, and we often turn down more clients than we take on when it comes to marketing now, that if I don't think it's going to be right for them, I would say, look, in 3 or 6 months' time, we're going to be having the conversation that it's not working. Happy to run a campaign for you, but I don't think it's going to be the right way to spend your money. So that's the first lesson, is onboarding the right clients. And then the second thing is, and this isn't a lesson, it's just something I've always done. I always say customer and service over profit. So obviously as a business, you're always wanting to make as much profit as you can. But if your mindset is that of looking after your customers, for somehow it seems counterintuitive, the profit does just follow, because word of mouth happens and they're happy. And you know what? Even if they could get a slightly better service elsewhere, maybe for a little bit less money, they like the service that your sort of product, as I say, they like the service you're delivering, and they stick with you because they enjoy working with you. And that's sort of the second most important thing that I've learned, I guess. And I've taken a long time to hone, like it wasn't there at the beginning, and I'm still learning it.
So tell me about your aspirations for your company for the next 5 years. Yeah,
so I'm not one of these business owners that wants to be the biggest. I don't want to have loads of staff. We've got a staff team of 3. We might add to that sort of 1 or 2 more, but I have no desire to grow it massively. I don't want the stress of it. So for me personally, my goal for the business is to grow the offering that we deliver, so strengthen the like the reliability of our business. We're a very financially sound business, as say I know my numbers. So I want to grow our web development offering to take on more of like the revenue being our web development. And as I say, the other thing really is I don't want to be the biggest, but I still want to be the best in terms of the service that we deliver and the repeat clients that we work with. So I'd rather be slightly niche and for people to come, say, you know what, go to Robus Marketing because they really look after you. And for myself personally, just had a little baby, and
congratulations.
Running a business really now, particularly when I have a really good staff team, means that I'm able to focus a little bit more on my family life. I think it's very easy to have all the money, the car, the house, this and that, and then just your family life gets neglected. So personally, for me, my why in business is to give my family stability and my son stability, and be able to enjoy that. And I want the same for my staff. So yeah, that's kind of my
look, I totally resonates. The business owners that I speak to, in a lot of cases, their lives revolve around their business, as opposed to, the business should revolve around their lives. But so tell me, what sort of advice would you give your 18-year-old self, knowing now what you know?
What advice would I give my 18-year-old self? My spotty, mouthy, glary 18-year-old self. So at 18, I started work when I was 14, so I had a paper round. Don't know if you can even do that these days, if I'm honest with you. And I'm only 35, so I'm not exactly an old boy. And I got my first job at 16. I used to work in the music industry as a live sound engineer for a hire company before I worked in marketing. But there I really learned the value of hard work. So I think the first lesson that I would just remind myself really is work hard, but also prioritize where you have success. So often you sort of see, and I talk to so many business owners, as you can imagine, you know, they want to be the next Uber or they want to be the next Just Eat, but they only want to spend £200 a month on their marketing.
Yeah, that's right.
They want to
I've had those conversations as well.
And I'm like, mate, you're not going to even get anywhere near there. And to be honest, it's delusional. But as a business owner myself, I've learned prioritize where you succeed the most. So our social media service, it wasn't something that I was like, I'm going to start a company that does 60% social media content. I just started. I spent a couple of hours with a business coach who showed me how to package services because I didn't have a clue. And that was what sold. And that was what made me money. And we've done very well out of it. So I guess the thing is work hard and prioritize what makes you the most money. Even if it's not necessarily the thing you enjoy the most. Make that a hobby. But if the thing that is there that makes you the most money, hone it, improve on it, and build on it, because ultimately that's what you're in business for.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for sharing that. So if I wanted to do business with you, how can I find you? Where are you located? Tell us your website address, your Twitter handle, your LinkedIn profile. Obviously, we'll add all these details, but please tell us. And if there's anything else you'd like to add.
Yeah, for sure. So the best place to head to, check out our website, robusmarketing.com, or just Google Robus Marketing, ROBUS, no T, which is a slight mistake I realized when I started the business, but that's okay. On there are links to all our social medias. My LinkedIn, obviously, I'm Nathan Brown, Robus Marketing. So if you Google that, you'll see my ugly mugshot there with a blue background. Drop me a message through our website. You can book a meeting, discovery call straight into my diary at a time that suits you, or you can give us a call. That's probably the best way to get in touch. And I was going to say I'm more than happy for clients that sort of have seen this video or get in touch to give them half a price web hosting for their first year with us. So just mention that's where you saw us, and happy to look after that. And also 2 hours free graphic design to do any logo work and that sort of thing that you need. It's something that we particularly do for new businesses. When they're setting up, you don't want to spend tons and tons and tons at the beginning. And for me, it just goes down as a marketing cost, and I'm happy to support. So, we'd be happy to, if you took out a website, give you the 2 hours of design for logos, and anything on from there is as per we would usually. So always happy to help. And thank you for your time. Really enjoyed chatting.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Nathan, for joining us. Thank you very much. You have a lovely day.
You too.